Here we're going to look at making sense of metric units, and let's first talk about a meter. Meters are very similar to yards. So a meter is slightly longer than a yard. And a yard is 3 feet. And so it gives you a sense of where that is. Now to go for the smaller units, the centimeter the easiest reference point I would say for a centimeter, it's about the width of a fingernail. From left to right, if you put your hands down on a piece of paper. The conversion that we have is 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. Now a millimeter is a very, very small piece, so imagine taking that width of a fingernail and breaking it up into 10 pieces. That would go ahead and give us a millimeter. Now a kilometer, that's slightly smaller than a mile. So you can see that if you look on your odometer when you're driving your car, they typically have both miles per hour and kilometers per hour. So if you are going about 60 to 65 miles per hour, you'll see that's about 100 kilometers per hour. So, if you drive 65 miles, you're driving about 100 kilometers. But I'll give you a more precise conversion as we move forward. So that's our notion of length. Now if we're going with mass, the standard unit of mass, of course, is the gram. Now, a gram is a relatively small amount of mass. A small paper clip may weigh a gram, but frankly, that might even be too big. A small peanut Now, a kilogram is something that you understand. A kilogram, kg, it's about 2.5 pounds. What are some things that weigh about a kilogram? Well, a pineapple might be a good example of something that weighs about 2.5 pounds, weighs about a kilogram. Now if we go to our units of volume, the standard unit of volume is a milliliter. Now a milliliter is the same thing as a cubic centimeter. So if we take a centimeter and put a centimeter on each side and make a cube, that would correspond to a milliliter worth of space. And indeed, a milliliter is a unit of volume. A milliliter is a cubic centimeter. And one very important fact is for water, again, at sea level, at the correct temperature, 1 milliliter of water is 1 gram of mass, weighs 1 gram. So that's a nice thing to know as you're converting among various units. Now, to get a feel for this, 1 milliliter is relatively small, but 5 milliliters is about 1 teaspoon. Again, a teaspoon is not a very precise unit of measure, so we don't use it much in medicine. But you know what a liter is, right? Because we recognize the 2-liter bottles of soda pop. So I expect that you have some feeling for what a liter represents, what a milliliter represents. Now, in terms of degrees Celsius, what you need to know about that is 0 degrees Celsius is the freezing point of water. What that corresponds to us is that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So on winter days, when it is below freezing, the temperatures in Celsius are all below zero. 100 degrees, which is not that unusual in Fahrenheit, would never show up as a temperature in Celsius, because 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of water. So what is that? That's 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Obviously, the temperature never quite gets that high. Again, to get a little bit more comfortable with the notion of Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius is about room temperature. And 37 degrees Celsius is body temperature, normal body temperature. So it's important to be able to use these ideas fairly well to get an understanding of what they mean. So we want to have something we can hold on to, some things we can compare these things to. Now, we've got to be comfortable converting units. So, for example, if I had 2,300 grams, and I wanted to know that's how many kilograms. That is done by using dimensional analysis, which we've done before. So let's think about that. I'm starting with 2,300 grams. We're going to make that 2,300 grams over 1, multiplied by, I want to convert that to kilograms. So we want grams to cancel. I want kilograms upstairs. And what's our conversion? We know 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. So then the grams would cancel. Kilograms is left. 2,300 divided by 1,000 would be 2.3 kilograms. If we're asking 300 cc's is how many liters, we've got to recognize that a cubic centimeter is a milliliter. So we're going to start with 300 cubic centimeters. And a cubic centimeter, 1 cubic centimeter is the same thing as 1 milliliter. And then we can go ahead and we can convert milliliters to liters. And we know 1,000 milliliters is 1 liter. So you'll notice that cubic centimeters cancel, milliliters cancel, liters are left. 300 divided by 1,000 would give me 0.3 liters. Recall that we established that 1 milliliter of water weighs 1 gram. So we could actually find out how much a certain amount of water weighs. So, for example, if I say 1,500 milliliters of water, how much does that weigh? Well, we know that 1 milliliter of water weighs 1 gram. So what we get here is we're going to get 1,500 grams. And if we wanted to convert that into kilograms, we could take 1,500 grams now, converting that to kilograms, grams on the bottom, kilograms on the top. 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. 1,500 divided by 1,000 would be 1.5 kilograms. So 1,500 milliliters of water would weigh 1.5 kilograms.